Welcome back to Behind the Breaks. Excited to have you back. This episode's incredible. We've got Shake and Bake. Guy sells on Whatnot. Really good breaker. A self-proclaimed degenerate, but an awesome guy. You can enjoy this episode.
Yeah, definitely, Matt. It was really great talking to him about just his whole business structure and how he started and just some of the massive pulls he's gotten through F1 and with some MLS. So, yeah, it was a really great episode to jump into with him.
Yep. So check out the show notes. We have links to Shake's various platforms. Give him a follow. Definitely worth it. Enjoy the show. We are excited to have Shake with us today. Shake is a degenerate, self-proclaimed degenerate sports card collector. By day, he's an engineer. By night, he's on every night, just about breaking. Passionate about F1, all things Detroit. And my favorite thing is sharing the hobby with his kids. Welcome in, Shake.
Thanks, fellas. Thanks, Matt and RJ, for having me.
Very excited to have you, man. I think before we get into the business aspect of this and things you've learned and things you can share with the community, I want to talk about your why because for me that was awesome when you shared that with me before we got on here. So I think it was your daughter when she was born. You want to kind of share with us that?
Sure. Yeah, it might have started a little before that, but what led me to live card breaking on Whatnot had more to do with when my daughter was born or the months thereafter. So back in 2020, like everybody else, I dusted off some old boxes of cards and just started seeing what I had and joining Facebook groups and kind of looking up values and stuff. And I had a lot of cards because when I was a kid, we'd cut the grass. My dad would give us 20 bucks. We'd spend it all at the card shop, right? That's just what we did. I had Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco cards. Like I just Frank Thomas. We had ton of base. It was mostly baseball cards. So then 2020 happens. We dust off the cards, and I get back into it. And we go to Target, and I buy all the cards they have on the shelf. I start getting back into it and watching people break live on Facebook. Start buying into breaks. This is the first time I've seen breaks. First time I've done breaks. Um, so during all of this time while this is happening, the pandemic, my daughter was born April of 2020. So the country shut down, the world is in chaos, right? She's born 6 weeks early, has some issues, has to have surgeries, like she's in the NICU for 7 weeks. She comes home with feeding tubes down her throat, like oxygen tanks, monitors, and sensors. It was at the time it was just normal, but like looking back at it, it was pretty intense stuff that we had to go through, especially with everything going on in the world. Being a degenerate, sometimes you do things online late at night, buying the card breaks and things, and you're like, okay, now I gotta pay for this somehow. Oh boy, So I started going to Walmart and trying to find cards and like resell them when they stocked them and stuff, but that was very challenging because everybody was doing it. It was super hard to do. So I started just buying the cards, boxes of cards, and doing live rip and chips on Facebook. But that was to me it was fun, but it was very hard to engage the audience because I don't know, it didn't give the same experience as when I went on Whatnot. So what started me going on Whatnot was that, you know, being able to interact more with people and like they could see my face and what I'm doing. I wasn't just a pair of hands with the camera and some cards, right? Um, so my daughter had a lot of issues when she was born, and with those issues come a lot of trips to the doctor. So I had to figure out how do I pay for being a degenerate while still taking care of my family, right?
Yep.
So that's what led me to breaking on Whatnot and taking off, not doing it on Facebook anymore and going to Whatnot. Um, and I remember the first time that I went on Whatnot to do a break, I got approved, I got all ready, I got set up. I bought a case of cards, F1 cards, Sapphire cards from Tops on their website. And I went on there, and the first night I sold all of it. And I had a case of light, like 60. I sold all of it in the first night. And I
Nice.
couldn't believe it. I got off and I remember telling my wife, I said, babe, this was so much. It was so much fun. I had such a great time. Like it was great. Right. So I bought more. It's like, yeah, send me some more. The second time I got on, I lost money. I was like, oh, I'm devastated. What is going on? Like, it just was total not the total opposite, but I think my expectation was so high after the first time that the second time, like, I lost money, and it wasn't like a couple $100, like, it was a decent amount, and I continued to go back. I didn't give up, right? I guess, like, "Okay, well, let's refine it. Let's not try to do something so big instead of trying to break a whole case at dollar auctions," which is insanity. "Let's just try 1 box and see how that goes," you know what I mean? That's kinda why I started breaking and then moved to Whatnot where I'm at now, was because of me being a degenerate sports card collector
Yeah,
and needing to still have the needs to take care of my family and my daughter with her health issues.
that's well. Before we pivot into the business, and you certainly have evolved and grown a great community. How's your daughter doing? She's good.
She's great. She's 4.5. She turns 5 in May. It's hard to believe COVID was 5 years ago.
Yeah,
And she still has some setbacks, but she just has a speech issue, which she still goes to therapy, but she's not having surgeries and multiple doctor visits a month to deal with all the other issues she had when she was born. So she's getting close to, I guess, what a normal 5-year-old or 4-year-old life would look like.
yeah.
She can say some words. Like the other day, she looked at me and said, duh," when I said something, and
Get
I
used
just
to
like,
it.
I don't know if that's I was it part of me, I was like, "Okay, I love that you just put 2 words together and use them correctly, but, like, maybe next time you don't say, duh,' to your father." I don't know.
It's only
Uh,
starting. Yeah, it's only starting.
It was it was special, but at the same time, I was like, "Oh, I'm in trouble."
well, you are.
But yeah,
Yeah,
she's doing great now. She excels. She knows she's so smart, even though she can't verbally express
yeah.
everything she's trying to do. She don't need to. She's and I'm wrapped around her little finger
Of course you are, man. Of course,
big
we know
time.
that. We both have daughters as well, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we know that.
She sits in my lap and gets in the way and sleeves and cases and puts stickers on all the base cards. It's wonderful.
Real quick plug for everybody that gets in your breaks. Can you have the kids break more because they hit some damn monsters, man? My goodness. I mean,
My son is I don't know. He's got the hottest hands in the hobby. I promise. Every time he doesn't
it's
fail.
well, good. That's great to hear. She's doing well, and you're certainly doing well, and you shared some tips with us. So can I walk through your journey with whatnot?
If you were there in the beginning, people like the OGs, we like to call them, like the original. I don't know, maybe the ODs, the original degenerates that were part of my streams back in the day. It evolved. I used to be in a different room than I'm in now. Now I'm in the bat cave. It's the basement of my house, right?
Right.
We used to be like if you have a formal living room in your house, right? I was up there, but it got to where at 2 o'clock in the morning, and if I hit a 101, I can't be screaming because I'm waking up the whole house. My wife was like, she never said get out of here and go to the basement, but I felt it. You know what I mean? Started off with my cell phone and one computer screen. Now I have 3 cell phones, 5 computer monitors, microphones, like high def cameras, professional photo lights. Like it's a mini production studio down here.
And you're operating that on your own, right?
It's taken me a lot of trying to figure things out. And part of being an engineer is my daily job is, hey, this is broken or this doesn't work. Do you know how to fix it? No, but I'll figure it out. So it's taken a lot of figuring things out just to get all this set up and it's like a good I don't know, like in a factory, they put things in a certain order and process. That's what all of this is set up for. Everything has a purpose and a place exactly like it is to make it more efficient.
Spoken like a true engineer right there.
That's
Right?
it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine your shipping, which we can get into. Well, I can tell us now. I mean, your shipping's got to be dialed in, right?
I'm pretty impressed sometimes when I go in there that you can literally stand in one spot and barely move and you can do everything from sorting and shipping to, the start to finish, it's all in one area or it has a place down the line, right? It's all in an order. It's pretty efficient. When we do very large breaks on release weekends or things like that, we can have 3 people in there working. Everybody has their station and it runs pretty smoothly. So
Nice. So when you were actually creating your camera going from one camera to multiple cameras and screens and stuff, like that process where you just like, this isn't right yet. Like, I need one more over here. I need this. This is going to be more of like the showmanship side of it. Like, what went into that process of deciding, like, hey, I need to perfect this into a bigger setup.
It all stems from watching other breakers and then using things that they do to cater to what I like. So this is what I like to watch, or this is what I like to see when I'm watching a break is what is the setup that I have. And I don't know where I know where I want to go next, but it's gonna take some commitment to get to the next level. Always evolving, always expanding.
Well, we'll get into where you want to go because you were kind enough again. I think this kind of goes to who you are, and you talk about it a lot on your during your breaks. You're always telling people, how you've grown during the breaks. You sent us some tips that you work with, um, and the first one was start small. So you kind of alluded to some of that, but you're talking about one or two box breaks, or what do you think? A lower end product?
Yeah, exactly. Well, both. Yeah. So like I think I mentioned in the beginning, the first break night that I did, like I just got really lucky and had a great audience and had new product and like it just I sold all of it and made some money, right? But then I tried to do it again and I lost more money than I made the first time. And I'm like, well, what happened? Well, so I evaluated what happened was I started too big. No, you shouldn't run dollar auctions on a full case of cards when you're just starting. So the next stream, I'm like, all right, I'll just do one box and see how it goes. Okay, I made a tiny bit of money. Okay, cool. Did it again. Oh, I lost a tiny bit of money. I'm still trying to perfect what I do. I'm still trying to make it better. And especially in the beginning, like I was a hot mess. I was sometimes the stream would crash and I didn't know how to get it back. So I would just make a new stream and then hope people showed. I'm like, okay, if everybody coming back, it was or my camera, I only had one camera and it was my cell phone. Well, sometimes if I was on for 5 or 6 hours, I didn't have the proper charger to keep my phone alive the whole time and it would die. And I'd have to wait 10 or 15 minutes to go back live in the middle of a break. It was a hot mess. If somewhere out there on the interwebs, if you can find some of that stuff, you're gonna be like, wow, this guy is really grown. I've gotten a lot better at what I've done, and it's all because I failed, honestly. All the times that I failed, I'm like, how can I do that better next time?
Yeah,
How can I
sure.
how does this not happen again?
The second tip that you shared with us was expect to lose money. I think for some that might be kind of a hard pill to swallow, but you know, talk to that point.
It takes some time to figure out what works and what doesn't work. You can see these big breakers who get on there and just go crazy, and you're like, wow, they got to be making a ton of money, and they snap fill that break, $50,000 break in a minute. Like, I want to do that, but you can't do that right out of the gate. You will lose money because people number one, people don't know who you are when you first start, even on a large platform like Whatnot who has, hundreds of thousands, maybe probably millions of users daily on the app. When you're just starting, people are already going to the breakers that they know. So you can get on there, and one of the rules that they have is if you start a break, you have to finish it. So either you can sit there for 12 hours and try to fill it to make your money back, or you just have to keep it rolling. So one of my things is I have to keep it fun. I have to keep the break moving and keep it fun because if you're just sitting there stagnant and you're quiet, people are gonna get bored. They're gonna leave. They're never gonna come back.
Right.
Yeah,
So to me, making the break fun is keeping it rolling, even if it costs me money because I'll run a spot at a dollar. Spend 15 minutes having this little spot, running at a dollar. And I had the nickname. I still have the nickname sometimes. Shake and break even. I don't. You know, there were there were a lot of nights that I just it was like, all right, guys, I'm just trying to break even tonight. Let's have a good time. Let's open some cards. Let's just bring the community together. It was funny for a while, and it occasionally now it still happens. Like even though I've been doing this for a couple of years, there are nights where I still lose money because I tried too big or I tried the wrong thing, people didn't like it, or just sometimes I just don't know what happened. I'm like, I'm the only person on, what's happening? Expect to lose money if you want to grow your audience. It's gonna happen. I don't think anybody has ever made money every time they ran a break. I don't think they have.
So have you found that sweet spot of like, hey, I'm at 1 box or 2 boxes, but I can't go above 6 because it's going to get, too beefy for someone to kind of get in. And it's going to take me 8 hours to break this thing.
Yes and no. Sometimes I just go for it, and and, as I've grown, I kinda can feel a product. So when a new product comes out, I know that I can go on and, like, even if I run, like, 10 casers or 5 cases of product, I'll give it to you for, a huge markdown. I'll probably make the same profit I woulda made off of a 2 caser that I make on a 10 caser, but I get to open 10 cases. We get to have a blast, and we get to pull some massive cards because we open 10 cases of it. You know, I'll sit there for 5 or 6 hours, my back will be killing me, like, I'm sweaty, my fingers are like, "Oh, man, I can't sleeve in case another card," but, hey, we still got 8 boxes left. I just keep going because you never know what's in the last box, man. You gotta find out what's in every pack.
You got to get through them all. Well,
I mean, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun.
you keep saying fun, and that was actually your third thing, and I'm surprised that wasn't your first tip for everybody. But that's definitely something I see, and I think RJ was in the break of yours the other night. You definitely have fun, and the thing I appreciate is you know the sports that you're breaking, and so I think that kind of gives you that ability to carry that conversation to keep it interesting. You definitely have fun in your breaks.
Well, it's like Matt was jumping on a plane. So he's like, hey, like get in here because he's live right now. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll check it out. The first thing I noticed is you had two skeletons sitting behind you.
They're
And
still there.
I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, and then you're just like having a ball. And I'm like, all right, I'm down for this. So,
Yeah.
even if you're like not buying the entertainment factor, which like that's kind of what you are sometimes. Like, yeah, you're opening cars and you're having a great time with everyone, but you're also entertaining. You're out there to make sure that people are having a good time, or else
That's it.
like you're saying, they're gonna kind of pop off and try to find someone else.
And my skeleton, so that's evolved. It was Halloween one year, and I had him riding around in my car with me. That I just, and I brought him in the house one night for a stream, and is Bonesy because he's all bones. I just call him Bonesy, right? And he just became. I don't know. I could banter with a skeleton, right? It's just another layer of something fun. Hey, I got a skeleton that I can. If we hit a massive card, I can pick him up and slam him on the ground and see what breaks. You know what I mean? Like, this is actually where I'm Bonesy 2.0 because Bonesy 1.0, he's gone. We demolished Bonesy 1.0. But now Bonesy has a girlfriend. Her name is Skelly.
And they're always moving around, like RJ said. They're always doing various things, sitting in chairs and
Man,
whatever.
they're lazy though. They don't help at all.
They're not helping you
Um,
ship.
Nothing. They don't. They get in the way. The worst employees, I tell you.
Hey, so yeah, so your next tip, as I mentioned, they don't help you ship, as you said, ship fast. Um, that's an impressive feat for somebody like you that's breaking the 10 cases. I mean, that's got to be
Yeah.
a
I
job.
have help. Yeah, I definitely have help, whether it's physical help from like my wife or my brother, or people that have helped me in the past. I don't know, the support of my wife to be like, "Hey, babe, love you. Kids are in bed. I'm gonna go hang out in the basement for 5 hours and sort all these cards and ship them." You know what I mean? So that's pretty important to me. Is my wife has always supported what I do, and she actually wants me to get some Disney cards for her. She was like, "I wanna break Disney cards." I'm
There
like,
you go.
"They're so expensive." You
Oh, are
know?
they? They're
Yeah,
expensive,
so
bro.
so tip number 2, expect to lose money. That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, "Okay, honey, yeah, we'll buy you a giant, bill
Yeah.
But
of
if you hit
Disney
that
cards."
Cinderella patch 101 auto, right? Like you're gonna be
The
good to
crowd
go.
will go crazy. Yeah, it'll be great,
Musical worn patch,
That's it,
war.
Piece of, Rapunzel's hair or something. You never know what they put in these cards.
Well, I actually have been in a break where your wife has appeared. She came in and definitely supportive. She was pretty awesome. She came in, gave you some support, and then said, "I'm out."
She does. She helps out from time to time when I ask her. She's not, like, overly eager, "Hey, can I help you tonight?" But if I'm like, "Babe, I need a little bit of help tonight. Can you help?" She comes down, no problem. So it's very nice, and in the biggest help that she gives me in my shipping department. So, usually the normal breaks I sort, and I get it ready to, like, get put in a package, and she does the packaging. We got stickers, and we throw in different, swag with the shake and bake on it. We try to throw stuff in there for people, I mean, I get requests all the time. Can I get some more stickers or can I get a box cutter or a card stand? I try to accommodate. Now we have all these one touches I send out. I just ordered a bunch more stand-up displays, thank you.
Yeah.
I put those in packs, you know what I'm saying? People, it doesn't cost me a lot of money, and that's part of, expect to lose money. I buy things like that with profits that I make and I give it back.
This kind of goes to again that fifth tip you share with us is building relationships. Any breaker just getting started knows how hard that is because you're talking to yourself essentially. So why do you think building relationships is important to building that community?
Well, I didn't put these in any order, but building the relationships might be the most important thing because you're asking these people to spend their hard-earned money with you,
Yeah,
you're asking a lot of them. You would need to build a relationship with the people that are spending their money with you so that they trust you. You know what I mean? Like the breakers that I break with, I don't break with everybody. I only break with a few people because I've trusted them and they've built that relationship with me. Now, sometimes I write on people's team bags, I'm like a frowny face or, WTF or you know what I mean? Like sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a lot of friends now that are because of this community on whatnot around, especially around Formula One, because that's my main thing
yeah,
that I do on Whatnot that, I've flown these people to my house to help me on a release weekend.
no kidding.
That's awesome.
I've taken them to nationals with me, full paid trip. Let's go to nationals, bro. Shake and bake will pay for it.
You talk about relationships, so let's kind of pivot to the relationships with how do you get your cards, your supplier, your kind of walk us through that.
Sure. So product allocation is probably the hardest thing that I do is trying to find a product at a price that I can reasonably break it for people on Whatnot. Um, I used to just buy it straight off Top's website, straight from distros off their website. And you're gonna pay the most doing that, right? You can go into your local hobby shop and buy boxes. They've already gotten a product that's marked up and then they've marked it up again to you. You can start there. That's where you start. But what I do now is I go to card shows. I go around and I have a giant case of cards that I've accumulated for the year, and I go up to every booth and I see if they want to buy any of them. While they're adding them up or finding what they want, I ask them, like, do you guys get cases? Like, what do you got, a hobby shop? I try to connect with people who own hobby shops who get allocation from Tops, whether it's one case or 20 cases of products that I want to break. And I get their number or exchange IGs with them. And I have a little Excel spreadsheet that I put their name and, who they are and what products they can get me that I go back and check during release times, and I send them messages on IG. And that has proven to be probably the biggest place that I get product from. Living right north of Atlanta, there is a giant card shop here called Cards HQ, and I know the gentlemen that own and run that card shop,
Mhm.
and they have helped me put me in touch with people who I can get cases from, right? And that's just
Yeah,
from relationships at my local card shop. I also connect them with other breakers. So I help my local shops out like that, and they help me out.
So then when you look at when they're getting allotment in, like at what point do you go, "Hey, I'm gonna break this for the show, but then like I'm gonna keep this for like my personal stuff to break with my kids or just to break, on my own time?"
So that is an internal struggle that I deal with daily, and how I combat that is I set goals of when I can open product and how much I can open. And I try to stick by it. Usually it's like once a month I'll open a couple boxes with my kids of Formula One or some MLS cars because we support Atlanta United. We're season ticket holders, founding members. We go to every match we can, and this my kids love it. I love it. The wife loves it. We have a great time. So what we do at those is we take a box to the game with us and we open it at halftime. Well, now my daughter's old enough, she wants her own box, right? So now I got to take two boxes to every game, and there's 17 home games. So you're looking at a few cases a year that we're opening of soccer. And then for Formula One, what I try to do is on race day, we open a box, but only one box. MLS is less expensive. So on race day, we open a box together, right?
yeah.
So that's how I police the amount of product that I open.
Do you have a case of F1 2020 stashed somewhere?
Not
Maybe,
I
maybe not.
sold it right before I broke it right before Christmas, but
Man,
I'm daily searching for another one, and I will have one soon. I have a couple people that want to sell it. I'm just waiting on one of them to drop to my price, and then I'm gonna buy it.
everybody listening to this, like, yep, I'm in. Let's go. Because that,
Man, that's
man,
it's so expensive, but it's just the best product that Formula One has to offer. It's like opening 2017 Prism NFL, Patrick Mahomes rookie year. You know what I
no,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yep.
just a base card of his does really good numbers. So the 2020 is very similar to that. It's like the best product you can open for Formula One is 2020.
So earlier you talked about you know where you want to go, and where do you see one where you're going to head, and where do you see breaking going?
So that's the constant struggle that I'm battling with now is what do I do next? I used to think expand always in all ways, like just keep growing any way you can, as long as it's good growth, right? Not just to expand to get bigger, but like you naturally expand as you master a craft, it just grows. I feel like I'm at the point where I have to make a decision. Do I just stay where I'm at or do I take it to the next level? And I've been struggling with that for a while. If I go full time or if I go to that try to take it to that next level, I just know the time commitment is going to probably put strains on things that I really enjoy and it won't be fun anymore. And then that'll come across in the streams and people will feel it and I think I just, it would probably ruin what I have. So,
It's clear you're struggling with it. I can hear it, man.
yeah,
Like you're
it's
even talking through it. You're kind of battling yourself. Like I can do this, but you have to expand from F1 and soccer to Disney. So that's already established.
yep.
You've got to lock it in, man.
Oh man, Disney, that's a monster right there. I don't even.
We can't thank you enough for jumping in here as we
Sure.
kind of pivot. I can't imagine us not having you back.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, everybody come hang out and just have fun. You don't have to buy to hang out in my streams, just come out and participate in the chat and just, ask questions and learn about Formula 1 and stuff like that.
That's fantastic. All right, man. Well, we
Sure.
really appreciate it, and
Yes, thank you so
appreciate anybody
much.
listening, man. This has been awesome.
Yeah,
Check
Matt and
out
RJ,
Shake.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on the show behind the breaks. I'm a fan, baby. Let's go.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Breaks. We appreciate you being here with us and helping us grow this community. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.
Make sure to like, follow, or subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.